Spider-Man, Spider-Man. I was trying to remember how the song went. I was sitting there staring, knowing full well that the stream started, and I was trying to... Spider-Man. Of course it started Spider-Man. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Scooby-Doo, Rocksteady crew. Find him in Octoped Ingenue with flare hair. There goes the Spider-Man. In the heat of night, at the scene of the crime, he arrived. I will stop singing. Hello, Galaxy. Chris Pirillo here for another live edition of the Lockergnome Daily Report, TLDR for short. Just wrapped up another live video in the other YouTube channel, youtube.com/Chris Pirillo. Talked about the best tablet of 2017. Total controversial video. So controversial, I didn't even open it. Yeah, Zach. Bubble burst. Didn't even open the box because I can't. It's actually a gift for somebody else. I can't very well do the video after 2017's over, and no one's going to watch videos after Thanksgiving anyway. I'm serious. Nobody is watching. So do videos like nobody is watching. That's what I'm doing. Best ofs-ish, mostly. But as I had mentioned in the video, I didn't need to open the box to let you know that it was the best one out there. For the price and specific for the reason, taking advice from others from the same type of. I don't want to ruin this for everybody. Like, you got to watch that video. If you're interested in my choice, right? You got to watch the video. I'm not going to sit here and talk about the video I just did, apart from telling you that it just happened. I mean, what's the point? I don't know what the point is. Tell you what I do know. The point of this video is for you to ask me anything. Anything. It's not Chris Pirillo answers everything, though, just so you know, okay? And also, don't wonder too long about why I'm wearing this hoodie after being an arachnophobe my entire life. I never really minded Spider-Man. I liked him on the Electric Company. But it was there. I needed to put on a new hoodie. And so I was like, all right, I'll just put this one on. I haven't worn this in years. Probably haven't even fit into my Spider-Man hoodie for years. Let me show you. It's like one of those hoodies that allows you to disappear your head. See, like, is that what Spider-Man does? No, you can't actually see Spider-Man's face. This is like a, not so accurate version of Spider-Man, but I can breathe easier with this on. Like, isn't that's how he did his web, like this? Not like that, not the devil horns, right? Like this or something like that, right? I don't know. I was never really into the comic book. I never really got into the whole comic scene. All right, I just wanted to show you that because I thought it was fun. Look, Spider-Man's giving birth to me. And that's how I came out of Spider-Man. It's just a red kind of day. We've got a super chat, which is not that. Super chat is not that either. And I don't think that's the right one. I don't think that's I love you, right? That's not it. It's like this. I think he does this. That's the wrong one. It's this. Vaughn Goy, he waves. Hi, Vaughn. Thank you for the first super chat. That was a super easy question. Very happy to field questions akin to that if I can. I would love to do that. Now hang on. I gotta look this up. How did Spider-Man hold his hand when he shot webs? I was not expecting to see that photo. Yeah, see, it's like, yeah, I guess he did. I guess he did do it like that. Huh. Shows you how much I know. Like this. Why? I don't know. It's like this. Okay, I did it right then. Never mind. Huh. I suck. I suck so much. I'm wearing this, and I can't even... I'm not a fan, though. Definitely not a fan of the... What? Why am I getting a link to this? Yeah, I know. I retweeted it last night. I assume everybody follows me on Twitter. Is that a bad assumption? It's probably as good assumption as Chris Pirillo knows everything about everything. Because I don't. It's like I said, this video is largely dictated by the questions you ask, and for whatever it's worth, I don't see a single I see a lot of people showed up. That's great, but not a question. I don't think you guys understand exactly how this AMA thing is supposed to go. It's worthy of discussion. No, it's not. It's not worthy of discussion. The problem is YouTube... I don't want to make this into a YouTube whine fest. YouTube messes things up more than it fixes anything. More than it makes anything better. YouTube's constantly changing things. Constantly. It's maddening. I don't want to get into this. I really would not care to dwell on negativity and how people are not doing the things they need to do, and it's YouTube's fault, not theirs. It's just, I really don't. I don't. Someone asked if I can address some of the anti-net neutrality points. Well, I already did. In the net neutrality video, I did in the other channel. So, did that for you. Tell you what, with no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and open the figure. This is what happens. You guys don't keep me on point. I'm going to Star Wars. Sorry, not sorry. This one was sent by Randy K 1977. I'm actually going to open it today. Someone just asked, do I use Chrome Beta? I do not. It's a good question, I guess, but I can answer that in nope. Why? Why would I? I can wait. I think you can wait. You don't need to run beta software. But honestly, for the most part anymore, beta software is like final software. The final software that ships is not amazing, and beta software is marginally better. I can wait. You don't need bleeding edge software. Do I ever log off entirely, as in go away for a couple days without a smartphone, internet connection, etc.? Not really. I think the closest I come to that is when Jedi says, charge your phone. And a little weapon, and a vibro axe. Look at that, this is huge. She'll say, charge your phone, when she wants you to put your phone down. So she'll say that to Diana, or she'll say that to me when we're playing. And so we set our phone down. Driving would be it. Driving, I set it down. I quote-unquote log off. Although it's not logging off necessarily. I do, when I'm around Jedi, make a concerted effort to set the device down when I'm driving, of course. But that's about it. I don't really see a need to unwind because I try not to stress out, when I'm using the device or the device is being used for a specific reason. I will say that I'm probably not going to be using my devices frequently for a little while. I'm kind of past that point. I mean, if I don't need to be working, I'm not in this room, or maybe I'm playing with Jedi, putting together a Lego Advent Calendar. I opened the Lego Advent Calendar. We got the Star Wars one, and I think I'm looking for a secondary one. I wish I didn't open it, even though I was on the fence. I'm like, well, I should open it because maybe Jedi will be interested. Jedi is absolutely not interested in the Lego Advent Calendar. I mean, maybe just a bit, and then she's off to something else, because she's a 3-year-old. That's what 3-year-olds do. But if I would have known she wasn't as interested, I probably would have kept things in the package. So now I'm looking for like a second one at like half price, because I'm not going to pay full price. But that's just me. Have you had a chance to check out the new series Marvel's The Runaways on Hulu? I've watched the first few episodes, and it looks promising. I don't have Hulu. Haven't paid for it. Not gonna pay for the extra subscription, because I don't think I would necessarily know. Hang on. Wait. Yeah, I know. I got it. Just give me a second. I already answered Carl's question. Jeez, people, calm down. Zach Brajawi asks, why haven't CPU clock speeds improved in the last 5 years? Moore's Law is dead. Moreover, I mean, how small can they get? How fast can they get? How cool can they stay? And I think we're just at that point where quantum computing is the next paradigm shift. Honestly, how fast do you need to run Microsoft Word? That's the question that they have to ask. So even if they can push the boundaries with speed, let's say, for argument's sake, are people going to buy into that? Now, you, Zach, as a media producer, needs speed. You need speed. That's a good thing. Nothing wrong with speed. But in terms of the return on the investment, I'm not sure any of the companies are going to see that. The technology, yes, getting faster and smaller and better in every possible way, but there's only so many nanometers you got, and then that's it. So we've got to look past the hardware limitations for a lot of these particular products, and double down on software, which is exactly what should have happened years ago. Just like Chris said, it should have happened years ago. Software. Carl B comes in with a super chat. Have you played the Lego Star Wars game? The Lego games are great fun, especially multiplayer, accessible to kids as well. I have not. Apart from maybe 1 or 2 levels. It's not that I don't like the Lego Star Wars games. I enjoy them greatly. I just never found the time to play them. Even the newer ones, which they look like a lot of fun, just haven't tripped me to the point of wanting to play them. I have, I think, recently purchased the Lego Force Awakens Star Wars game, but only because it came with an exclusive Finn minifigure inside. That's actually still in the box. I never actually opened it. So it does sound funny, but that's why I would specifically buy that particular product. I think when Jedi, as I've mentioned over and over again, I think when Jedi gets into the stuff, I'll probably get into it as well. As she's playing, I'll probably play it too. We got another super chat. Tiago Duarte. Hey, Chris, do you have any ideas for mobile apps that still actually have a space in the market? Nope. If I did, I'd be a billionaire. I think if anybody did, they'd be a billionaire. There are a lot of mobile apps out there, and jumping away from the fray is a monumental challenge. I'm not saying that it can't happen. It's just that a lot of people don't need a lot of apps. In making the switch from iOS to Android, got rid of most of my apps. And I don't mean on iOS. On iOS, I still have a great deal of those apps installed. But I just didn't go through the process of installing the same apps, though they are available on Android. On Android, I don't have a lot of the same apps on Android. I don't feel I need them. I don't want a lot of apps. I want fewer apps. I don't need all the apps. And I feel like I've got a complete experience. If I want to play the game, I'll get the game and then uninstall it after I'm done. I'm not just going to keep it hanging around, especially if I'm not playing it on a regular basis. You want to talk about Lego Star Wars games, or just Lego games in general, which are fun, a lot of playability there, but I just don't feel the need to get more apps unless they fulfill a need, and that need may very well be temporary. There are, a lot of, possibilities in terms of what could actually work in the marketplace, but like I said, I couldn't tell you what those are because I don't know, and nobody effectively knows what those are. That's what makes it somewhat interesting, especially for startups, especially for developers. But ultimately, I say this is what you need to do. You need to buy more Star Wars figures like this one. Look at the Praetorian Guard. They're different in the sense that their heads are molded differently. Their helmets are molded differently. And I guess they're kind of... This one, I think, out of all the Praetorian Guards, is probably my favorite sculpt. I don't mind the lobsterness of the arms. This is definitely my favorite sculpt out of all of them. I can't exactly bend at the elbow as much as I'd like to, but that axe is pretty dang epic. And the pike is, pretty neat too. Look at that. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, you go right there for now. Let's go ahead and scroll down, make sure I'm not missing anything else. Agreed, apps in the medical field are growing at an exponential rate. Well, there you go. There's also different compliance factors that you have to adhere to. My recommendation is you realize what's missing and you fill the gap. That's it. For example, there is a Star Wars podcast app that basically aggregates all the Star Wars podcasts into an app. I think that's an amazing idea. That serves the Star Wars podcast community. I think it's great. I think it's only on Android. Maybe it's on iOS as well. I don't have it. Don't need it. But just recognize what it is that you want, knowing that it doesn't exist if you are an app developer, and then make it. The problem with not being an app developer is that you kind of have to wait for something if you do want something to happen. But go back onto your own experiences and reflect upon your own experiences to be able to come up with something that hasn't been done before, or at least done the way that you'd like it done, in whatever way. Zach Rajawi comes in with the super chat. In your opinion, what's the future of search online? Not like it is today. Seamless, integrated, faceless. The idea that you'd go to Bing or Google directly to search for something, I think, is a mildly antiquated idea. And I believe Google understands this. It's invisible, or it should be. You don't want to think about what it is, where it is you need to go. You just search for it. So it's just invisible. Hey, could you show me the blah, 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 blah? Yeah. So like with Google Home, I was on a thread with Pixel Dan and Dinosaur Dracula on Twitter today. And one of them was commenting to somebody else talking about the 12 Pains of Christmas. I think it was the Bob Rivers Christmas comedy album of yesteryear, which I loved. I wore that cassette out. And I was like, oh, that's funny. So I said, oh, Mome Moogle. I can't say it now because I don't want anything to trigger. I said, play the 12 Pains of Christmas. I think I actually did. I triggered it. My keypad came up. So it played. That was me searching for something. I didn't care if it was coming from YouTube. I didn't care if it was coming from Google. I didn't care if it was coming from... I didn't care. It was just invisible to me. And that, I think, is the future of search. It's just invisible. Pervasive instead of invasive. Technology today is very invasive. Insanely invasive. One of the reasons I don't like technology is that it is invasive. It doesn't work like it should on a regular basis. And you don't have to look past your own problems with technology to understand where that comes from. So that, to me, is the future of search. It becomes invisible. It becomes increasingly pervasive. Someone asks... if I like somebody in GTA, I don't know. I couldn't even tell you what GTA is. Isn't that the new spec for the wireless thing? The GTA over the air? I think GTA is faster than ETA because your estimated time of arrival is not the same as your gestated time of arrival. I think it's what it is. GTA, gestated time of arrival. Pretty sure that's what you're talking about. So I don't like that. I've already gestated. I don't need to gestate any further. I know it's Grand Theft Auto, and I don't care. So someone says, I agree with you on the iPhone 10. Okay, let's relitigate this. But as hard as I try to explain to others, they simply don't get my point. They look at me as I'm an alien. Can you tell me how do I explain it to others? You can't. Because the people who bought into the iPhone 10 buy it as a religion. They buy it as a status symbol. They buy it because they were accustomed to iOS. They buy it because they trust Apple. They buy it because they believe it's the best thing that's available, or certainly understand it's the best thing for them. I still find that it's at a distance, a waste of money in terms of what you might get from iOS. I'm not the only one. An individual at CNET went undercover and went specifically into carrier stores to just get general advice, and found that the carriers, whichever carrier it was, were basically dissuading him from getting an iPhone 10. Unless you like Animoji, which is a great gimmick for 5 minutes, that it's a flash in the pan. I can count on one hand how many references to Animoji I've seen in my social feed over the past 2 weeks. So people are going to spend their money on what they want to spend their money on. Don't slag them for that. You can't convince them of that. It's a religious choice. That's what it is. It ain't a smartphone choice. It ain't a technology choice. It's a religious choice. You can't convince someone that their religion is wrong. So why? Then why are you trying to convince them not to get it? Why? It's their choice. Let them have it. It's their choice, not yours. They got to live with their choice. You don't have to live with their choice. It's a personal choice. I'm big into that, making personal choices. So just stop wasting your breath. Stop. I'm going to save you a great amount of time and frustration. Just stop wasting your breath. You're not going to convert them. Charlie here says, I'm crud. Now in England on a business trip, could you make a public wish list for some of your UK exclusive Star Wars things that you like to see and I can pick up? Are you serious, Charlie? I guess Charlie's from Seattle too. I should, Charlie. All right, let me jot that down. Okay. I don't even know. I don't even know what they have. That's the problem. If I don't know, I don't know. Oh wait, hang, that's not the app that I wanted. I wanted this one. Nice that I could get in and out of it cleanly without a frame drop on Android. That's really nice. UK Star Wars wish list. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess autocorrect worked out well. All right, I've got a reminder there. Reminder just got entered. Yay. Zach Brajawi says, I'm not sure if it's going to make sense, but I feel like people have to search less intelligently for stuff. Is that due to machine learning and the majority of users using basic terms? Anytime I try to search for anything more specific or advanced, it's in no man's land. I don't think that's you. I don't think people have to search less intelligently. I think people search less intelligently. That's not the problem. That's what people do. You can't fight culture. No one's going to make an esoteric query and do it in such a fashion that no one would ever write it the same way. It's just that a majority of the search engine, the questions asked of search engines are going to be generic. I mean, and technology you expect technology to work intelligently. Like, even with a quote-unquote watered-down query or a dumb question. I mean, we ask stupid things all the time. Every single one of us asks stupidly. That doesn't mean we're stupid. It just means that we know what we want and we expect that the artificial intelligence is going to figure it out. I can tell you this. Siri is not the solution. Siri is probably one of the worst things that Apple has integrated in its products. Absolute worst. Mind-numbingly bad. Horrific. Like, I feel like I cried blood once after trying to get Siri to figure out what it was that I was saying in plain English. Not like, mind you, chap, would you be able to surface the time at this particular moment? Like, it's that, like, who could figure that out, right? But, excuse me, sir, how does your chronometer read? Like, no, I say, hey, what time is it, or something. Siri's like, ow, I can do a web search for you. It's like, if I wanted to do a web search, I would have opened Safari. Thanks, Siri, for absolutely nothing. Here's the thing. Apple should be paying you to use Siri. That's my feeling about that. As Star Wars Rebels comes to a close, what animated series we want to see told in the next Star Wars universe? Siri isn't the only way to search. Well, yeah, duh, but it's integrated. That's how a lot of people use search. A lot. That's why it's integrated. And Apple's not going to allow you to swap that out for another truly intelligent artificial computing experience. So in terms of Star Wars Rebels, I don't know. I don't have a feeling one way or another. I'm not sold on any one idea. It's just like with the movie. I don't care. I just want it to be good. You've asked this question, not you, but I think people in general have asked this question of me over and over again, but I keep answering the same way. This is not going to change. My expectations are that it's good. That's it. Hey, Chris, what do you want in the next iPhone? I don't know, something to be better than what it is. What do you want in the next Android operating system? Something good? I don't have any specific expectations. I prefer to be wowed. That's what I want. I want to be wowed. So anyway, speaking of AI and Google, what did you think of the Google Translate AI creating its own secret language and translating things to itself before? I totally missed that. And I did not mean to write you off, Liz, but I am serious. Siri is how people search. It's becoming more and more invisible. It's why a lot of these, dang it. See? Hang on. So anyway, I totally missed that. But Siri, to get back to Siri, if you want to get on Siri, Liz, that's how people access it. They pick up their phone, hopefully not triggering it, and it could get triggered, you never know. Then they use it to search. It becomes invisible. They don't go to a certain search form. Google knew this years ago. That's why Android came to be, because people were using desktop search less and less. They were using their devices. That's what it came down to. That's always what it comes down to. Always. Every single time. So when you have the ability to look for something, do you want to think about which product you're going to use, or do you just want to start using it? That's why these smart home speakers are selling like hotcakes. That's why everybody seems to want one. That's why they're practically giving them away in some cases, because it makes the search invisible. That's the future of search, because that's how people want to look for things. The problem is culturally getting yourself over that hump. Instead of turning to Safari or turning to Firefox or turning to Google Chrome or whatever it happens to be. That's what is happening. People don't want to interface with technology. So all that technology is going to increasingly just slowly disappear. That fabric is slowly going to disappear. And it's going to be accelerated by certain technologies like AR. Or let's say stepping away from a computer screen or traditional computer screen and effectively interfacing with technology without interfacing with it. Everyone's making big bets on this. Google's making big bets on this, and their whole platform is search. Apple's making big bets on this. You hear them talking about AR, VR, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Hang on. I'm not sure if I'm missing anything. Can any platform replace YouTube in the future, if any? I don't know. It's a juggernaut. Despite all the mistakes that YouTube makes, they can't be toppled. You can't fight culture. This is something I've already mentioned, I think, today. You can't fight culture. This is what people do. This is where people go. This is where people are. This is where they are. You can make something better, and I think, what was it, VidMe or something? I barely heard about that service, and I guess it's going out of business because they just couldn't, despite having something that may have been better, couldn't pull enough people away. And that is really the problem. I'm not going to say YouTube's big enough, too big to fail, but if a majority of people are going there, that's where they're going. You can't fight that. Even with something better, you can't fight. You can have an app and you can go up against an app that has horrible shortcomings. But inevitably, it's not the features that are going to win. Culture is going to decide what is happening, where people are going. I have a dislike for people who are too lazy. Yeah, there's a reason that people do, let me Google that for you. It's very, very simple. I mean, it's not a matter of you not knowing. It's a matter of how to do something. And figuring out how you can do it is kind of up to you. You've got to take that step forward before going another step further. To the point where I know when I deal with customer service, they throw back answers. I'm like, I've done this. In fact, when I get on with a customer service agent, usually I have to explain every particular troubleshooting step I went through and searched for before I can get an answer from them so that I can qualify my query. But even after doing so, sometimes the customer service agent is used to dealing with someone who's not done any degree of research. And so it's easy in this microwave society where you expect it to be done like in 10 seconds. Like that is, it's a huge problem because that's not how it works. You can't expect technology to do everything for you. That's not how technology works. You have to use the tools at your disposal. Use what you've got. That's why technology is an enabler. It's not a destination. Absolutely not. Hang on. I tell Siri to turn on bedroom lights and ICU red at 50%, then tell her to play Imperial March on the speakers while there's questions. Thinking of questions to you. Yeah, it's good for you. I think smart homes are a horrible idea. If only because security reasons. I would unplug that hue quicker than anything. That's my warning to you, Zach. Unplug it. If you've been around YouTube, even as a subscriber for the past decade, there's always bumps in the road, always ebbs and flows. Well, that's on any platform. That's, having seen community grow and shrink and grow and shrink and grow and shrink over time, it happens everywhere. And it's a question of what any one entity can do to basically get past that or move past that or go above and beyond that. That's what it comes down to. And even if YouTube is slow to move, there's nobody that's come close. Facebook may have come close. They released this insipid creator update. That's what they called it, a creator update or a creator app or whatever it is. And it does virtually nothing for a creator. I mean, yeah, you can do a live video. You can keep up on mentions. Can you generate revenue? Not without a sponsor. Nope. But you can't generate revenue in line like you can on YouTube or you can on Twitch. They pay a creator. Facebook isn't into paying creators. So I don't see them pulling any degree of creators over from platforms that actually pay them. I can get super chats. I can enable patrons or subs or anything within YouTube. I can give you the capability of effectively controlling the destination of this particular video. I can do the same thing on Facebook, but for free. Who wants to give Facebook more time and attention and effectively more money? Who of us that don't have that much time to spare? Who among us? Who? I don't know. I don't know who that is. But it's the only one that stuck around. Yeah, that's the follow-up to the Facebook or YouTube thing. YouTube's ingrained into society. It's not going anywhere. See, that's what you're saying the same thing I am at that point. It's culture. You can't fight culture. You sound like my grandmother warns me not to open the computer box because people will virus my bank account. Zach, you may want to do a little research. That's all I'm going to say. Just do a little research before you continue to use the things that you're using. Where do you see the future of podcasting compared to YouTubers? I guess there's an event coming up this weekend, a PodCon it's happening in Seattle, but I'm not going to pay $100 to go. It looks interesting at a distance. It's done by one of the Green brothers, the VidCon guys. I think it's seen its time. I don't think there's a problem with podcasting, in terms of, what value it may unlock. It's the question of where it fits in to what your community wants, if a community is there to begin with, and what they want to talk about. Like I, have effectively, started to do it again, but it was largely because of a benefactor. That benefactor no longer exists, so my want, need, or desire to publish a podcast has dwindled to next to nothing. So effectively, I'm publishing a weekly podcast, simulcasting it on Twitch, not expecting that much more uptake. If I had a choice, I would be able to podcast with Diana, or at least someone else in the same room on a regular basis. It's not happening. So it just doesn't fit. And I think that's the problem with podcasting, is for many people, it just doesn't fit. It's fun, sure. If you've got a community that has a voracious appetite. This community does not have a voracious appetite. And then it depends on what the proposition is. So what it is that you're doing, and if it meets or matches expectations. It's just another way of publishing content that has horrible infrastructure and very little trackability, and really primarily uses audio as a medium. So it's, if anything, a replacement to or for radio and radio shows, because people are mostly listening to podcasts in the car when they're not wanting to pay attention to a screen, if they can find a compelling use case for it. People have asked for years what my favorite podcast is. If I listen to one, it's This American Life, or a Star Wars podcast. Every single tech podcast out there bores me to tears. I mean, I'm serious. I want to rip my ears off, like, in listening to tech podcasts. So I don't, even when I, take the time to talk about something in a podcast, I do my best to, completely avoid a topic that would just bore me to tears. Because why would you want to talk about something that bores you? I don't know. Maybe you have no choice. So in terms of between YouTubers and podcasting has no business model. It's a wacky approach that is still very wacky. I think its time has come and gone. I could be wrong. Maybe you can prove me wrong. Maybe people still want to listen to different things and they got enough time in their day. I don't know. But it's, like I said, it's a completely different medium, completely different reasons for it to exist. I used to think smart home gadgets were a neat idea until you started sounding the alarm on the lack of security. It wasn't until much later that the news site posted articles confirming this, and even then, they don't treat this with the seriousness it deserves. Even internet-capable toys for children are a big problem. There's a reason I have a dumb home. I could see Amazon in the future launching a competitor to YouTube that's more creator-friendly. How successful it would be, though, isn't a different matter entirely. Well, they have it. Twitch. Twitch was acquired by Amazon, and even it's still kind of coming together, like in terms of what it might offer. But it's got the, I don't want to say a problem. I mean, I think esports is a huge opportunity. Certainly if you enjoy playing games and other people enjoy watching you play games, that's something that is not something that's I think is going to work for everybody. But as for better or for worse, the Twitch has got their niche, and I think they they can, should, and have built upon that. I'm not sure if YouTube has a niche. If you are right, I'm literally in so much trouble. I am correct. Like I said, I can lead a horse to water, but that's about as much as I can do. To name a few, don't list those things off. Amazon has a ton to require. What company should Google acquire next? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't keep an eye on the startup space. It's probably some random startup, and if they acquire somebody or some company, it's probably because of the engineers that are in the company, not because of the company's technology necessarily. See, there are different reasons to acquire a company, not just for market share or popularity of a particular product, but specifically because of the intelligence within the company. That's very much the value of the company, who's building the company. So which company? Whichever one has the best talent. That's and I don't know what that is because I don't know what the goals are. I couldn't tell you. I really couldn't. Trust me. If I had the answer to that question, I'd be worth more than the next company to be acquired, because that would be worth something of value to any one of those companies. It's why when you see a company get acquired by a bigger company, the product or the service usually just goes downhill, because they probably didn't acquire it for the product or service. It'll get sunset. It'll go away. It'll disappear. That's the thing. That's the it's not the problem. It's how the market works. But they were acquired not because of the product, not because of the community around the product, but because of the team that was working on the product. That's why it's critical. An average product with very good marketing, or a very good product with average marketing, which would sell more? I think potentially a good product with average marketing, because the product itself is the marketing. There was a guy in the previous YouTube chat. He like at the end he said, "Subscribe to me," and this is it's a huge pet peeve. Like, dude, if you want someone to subscribe to you, you can tell them, hey, if you're doing a video, subscribe. If you haven't already, that's fine. I'm no one saying you can't. But jumping into a YouTube comment thread and telling someone else's YouTube comment thread and telling people to subscribe to you is a boneheaded move, because that's not how you get new followers. Create things that people want to watch. That's how you get new followers, theoretically. Because even if you create something that's worth watching, doesn't mean people are going to watch. Skype, Vine. Yeah, well, there's a couple of... Skype is, like, completely disappeared. And I guess the Vine creator's done something new and he hasn't launched it yet. They may be one-hit wonders. Skype, frittered away any kind of possibility for effectively building a juggernaut. They could have been a podcasting force. Podcasters still use Skype for whatever reason. I don't use Skype. I have no want, need, or desire to use Skype. The previous iteration or the current iteration. Because people were using it. That's what drove it. I think it had average marketing, but it was, for what it did, a good product. It was decent. It worked. That's all it needed to do in a time with Skype around, in a time that few other products could. Few other products had the promise or potential. And if the engineers would have recognized that, they could have effectively owned the market. And they don't. And they won't. Skype's time is come and gone. I know it's still got a lot of users, but it's been a radical reinvention, and it's a Me Too. Skype is now a Me Too. And there are a lot of Me Toos in the marketplace. Someone agrees with me. Well, at least one of you do there on YouTube. That's a good thing. I apologize for asking you guys to subscribe. Oh, don't apologize. Okay, thank you, Zach, for surfacing that. Don't apologize. I'm just trying to tell you. I know what you're going for. I get it. I feel you. But the way to do it is less direct. If it's what you're doing is exactly what someone asked. Is it good marketing, or is it a good product? It's what you're trying to do is go after the marketing angle, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. People are going to subscribe to you for what? Because you told them to subscribe to you? That's not why people subscribe. Ever. Ever. They never do. They never do. Because you haven't set expectations. You set expectations by doing something. That's how you set expectations. And then people decide whether or not that's something for them. That's how it works. So, don't apologize. Use this as a learning experience. You're not the only one. You're not. You're like literally one out of millions who do the same thing, because they do it the same way the marketplace does it. You try to approach the problem in a backwards way. The best form of marketing is a good product, or a product that you want to do. That is it. That is absolutely it. With this net neutrality talk in the U.S., now here in Canada, do you think our toddler kids will end up living in an Orwellian state, or will it take longer for that to happen? I think you're living in it now. Name something that you do that's not tracked. Go ahead, I'll wait. I'll wait for you to answer that question. Name something. Anything you do that's not tracked in some capacity. I'll wait. See, sometime over the past few years, you became the product. And you let it happen, by the way. With all the free stuff that you wanted, that you have. Yeah. And even with the stuff you paid for, you're still the product. You're very much going to be the product indefinitely. You are the product. Your kids are the product. Welcome to an age of consumerism. Embrace it. I hate to be the one to burst your bubble, but we're already there, dude. We are so already there. Poop? Really, Zach? You sure about that? Let's see here. You don't think that the water company knows? I'm not saying exactly what's in it. They can't track it to that level. They're still monitoring your water usage. You're monitored in one way, shape, or form. The only way to not be monitoring is to get off the grid, and you can't do that because if you're off the grid, you don't exist. You can't not exist. You would have to literally move into some remote location and be on a self-sustaining farm. Then you're not tracked, and then you're not relying upon anything or anybody for anything, which is possible, wholly impractical, if only because you would lose vital access to critical services. But that's the way to do it. Still, I can download torrents now and not be charged. John, don't be a jerk. That's a jerk move, dude. And don't sit there and say, "Well, I only download free things anyway, and Linux distributions. That's why I use BitTorrent." Dude, pay for your stuff. Using a bidet is quite awkward. I'm so glad that I don't have one. Some company was trying to get me to promote it, like a bidet. You say, all we need you to do is say the bidet is great. I'm like, no, I'm not going to get an internet-connected bidet and say that it's great. Fun fact, they used to track TV viewership during live sporting events by collecting water data during the commercials or halftime. Amount of toilets flushing told them how many households are watching. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you don't need the data to be specific. Now, Zach, that's what I'm saying. You don't need exact data to effectively fudge the numbers. Fuzzy math is a thing. It could absolutely be used. It can absolutely work. So yeah, I don't think it's a fun fact. I think it's just a flat fact. Data is being generated, and it's not a matter of if someone's going to use it. It's when and how, and is it going to make something better? It's getting to the point now where they can microanalyze anything and tell and tell whether or not a product or a service is good or it needs to be improved. And sometimes it works well, and sometimes it doesn't. They can effectively micromanage everything that you experience to the point where it's like magic to you, which isn't a problem until you realize that you are being sucked in by that magic and you are a product of said magic. If a better product sells more, explain to me why Beats by Dre sells more compared to Audio-Technica, where Audio-Technica has a far better product at much lesser price. What's another word I've used at least 2 other times in this particular video? What's the word? Begins with a C. There's a word I used in this very video twice over that has already answered your question. I've already answered your question. Look at the larger picture. Why? Why is it that Beats won? Why? Why is it? Using a word that I've used a couple times in this very video. What's one word that I used? The letter C. I've already used it. I didn't use, someone made a comment, that's not the word I used. There's one word I used, and Mixology has been paying attention. Von Goy. Culture. You cannot fight culture. And you can sit there and scream and, they're using a phone that they shouldn't be using. Culture. It's an inferior product because the specs are under... Culture. The platform's bad because of this, and why don't people use that? Culture. Can't fight it. You'll do it. And you'll just drive yourself mad. You'll drive yourself insane trying to fight it. You can't. Just can't. Your best bet is just to accept it, because that's all you can do. You just have to accept it. I'm not going to get into flippant terms for what people are if they follow culture. It's just culture. It is what it is. You don't like it, you don't have to be involved with culture. There's certain aspects of culture that I don't like. Sports, so I don't support them. I don't care to. Am I going to get angry at every sports person that out there? No, because it's not practical. It's just like, this is the same asinine suggestion that, this is a holy war between iOS or Android. Who cares? Literally, who cares? Apart from the people who want their side to win in a battle that never ends. Oh, there we go with the culture counter. That's about right, Infinity. You can't fight it. Embrace it. Try to figure it out. Liz told me that I could, I'm very glad because I couldn't figure it out. The damn squishy food pastry things. It's a thing on YouTube. I don't know if it's an ASMR thing or what, but it's like a squishy. I saw these toys, quote unquote, in the store yesterday. I'm like, if I did not have the context, I wouldn't be able to figure out what the hell was going on. But it's culture, I guess. People want squishy pastries for some reason. Not me. Can't deny it. I'm pretty sure this is gonna happen. With Jedi, as she's growing older, she's gonna want the latest thing. The fad. That's culture. It's her culture. I can't fight it. I just accept it, knowing full well that it's going to be a fad. I went through fads. We had friendship bracelets when I was growing up, where you had these little pins that you get friendship pins. You made little pins and then you gave to your friends. And then they wore the pins, and then they'd give you a friendship pin, if you were lucky to have a friend. So, yeah, that's, fad. They're just fads, that's it. Culture, fads. It's a question of which fads are going to stick around. It's like I see fads in technology all the time. All the time. My God. The fidget spinners, fad. I'm not saying that's technology, but they're just fads. It's culture. It goes on to, it gets perpetuated. Well, now, my God, if you get a fidget spinner for this holiday season, like it's done. People have moved on. I've not seen a single fidget spinner in months, apart from the Star Wars ones, which are finally out. Watch 4.2 is out. Yes, it is. I couldn't tell you what's there. In fact, thank you for reminding me. Apple's actually buying back. They're buying back Apple Watches. They're buying back Apple Watches, which is great because Diana's Apple Watch is broken. So we can get, I think, $50 for it, which we'd convert to be able to pay for the storage that she uses for photos because she refuses to use Android. Or she hasn't, which is absolutely maddening. Because I'm kind of tired of paying Apple any more than I need to pay them. But to further recoup the cost, given that she doesn't use the Apple Watch, I think we're going to take it in. They're taking it back, and then I'm probably going to sell my Apple Watch as well. I haven't worn it in ages. I don't need to wear it. I don't want to wear it. I have no alternative. There is no viable alternative to an Apple Watch. I'll wait until a better thing comes along. And Android Wear isn't it. I've looked. I'm like, maybe if Apple, I doubt they will, made it possible to manage the watch independent of an iPhone or independent of Apple's ecosystem, it would be a compelling alternative. It would be. But it isn't, and it's not, and I stopped wearing it. I just as soon convert that even into an Apple gift card, which you can now use for like movies anywhere. So you basically spend that money ad infinitum on Apple services for all the photo storage. I think eventually I'll be able to move her away from iOS, wean her off because of the photo stuff. She just wastes so much space on photos, so much space, and we have to pay the price, given that Google does it for free. So why spend $10 a month for a terabyte of storage when Google will give it to you for free? Why? I don't see any valid reason for that. I'm looking to save money, not spend more. Yeah, gift cards. They'll give you the gift cards, which is smart, get you to buy more into Apple services. But that's anymore if we do buy into Apple stuff, it's because of that damn cloud storage drive that we have, the terabyte family sharing. At least we can do that to save a fair amount of money. Or I'll buy a movie when it's on a special if I can get it on Movies Anywhere, meaning I could watch it on Google or anything like that. Someone asked if I enjoyed watching Avengers Infinity War. I did that video last week. There's a Google photo app for iOS that backs them up for free. Yeah, I know. We use it. That's what you should be using. But even then, you're still using iOS, and you're still paying Apple for something that Google's going to give you for free. On any Android device, but specifically on a Pixel type of device where the experience is more straightforward, more what it needs to be. And it's not perfect either. I've found bugs in the Google Photo app, even in editing down a clip that I needed to edit for for one reason or another. The software's not perfect on any platform, though. Star Wars countdown, 9 days. I'm trying not to think about it. All the more reason I'm getting off of social. I'm seeing more and more possibilities for having the experience ruined, and that's the last thing I want to have happen. Because inevitably, I don't want to know. I don't want to know until it happens. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to talk about anything. I haven't even thought about it. People at the grocery store who know me say, "Hey, did you are you waiting?" Yeah, I'm excited for it, but I'm just not thinking about it. Because I mean, there's only so much you can do. I gotta wait, so I'm gonna wait. Happy for the countdown, excited for the countdown, certainly, but I'm trying to. I've got a lot more things. And if I took the time to think, oh, I can't wait, then I'm like stuck in the I can't wait, and that would make me want to look more, and I don't want to look more. I want to look less. So, trying to look less. I'm trying to think about it less and less. Otherwise, I just obsess about it, and I don't want to obsess about that. So let's see here. Give me a second. Oh, that was my Spider-Man search. Okay. We talked a lot today. I did not mean to talk as long as we did. Why do I keep getting these dang notifications that disappear? I remember reading an article you wrote on Medium a while back. Do you still write on there? I found your article incredibly interesting. I stopped writing as soon as it stopped paying. I'll be honest. I mean, there's no point. Just like, I'm ready to stop talking. It's there's only so much you can do. But yeah, the prospect of spending time doing what it is that I can do well is diminished when there's little to no reason to do it. Yeah, I could share an idea. I have no benefactor. So it's not that I stop. I just it's not that I can stop writing. I can easily write. I can write like that. But in terms of where that may actually find attention that's somewhat valid or valuable, in between slim and none, there and gone. It doesn't exist. Without a larger supporting factor. And it's not that even, I tried with the patrons for a while. I said, I'll blog. I want to get into writing more. And honestly, maybe 2 people cared. I'm like, well, I'm not doing this for catharsis. Some people can, some people will, and so, that's great for them. But, I'm not into collecting essays from Chris Pirillo, done over the course of the year, because at the end of the year with 365 essays or posts, they would be, invalid, right? That's in terms of what I might write about. Unless what it was that I wrote was something that would have staying power, and then you'd have to wonder, like, where's it going to go from there? So it's not that I can't write; it's just that I don't. Why? What's the point? What's the point? Oh, thank you, Liz. I missed a super chat. I did. Oh, that was the super chat. Have a great start to the week. Oh, that was the one we missed yesterday. Yes. It was a fair to partly cloudy start. It was a good start. It is a week. I'll give it that. No doubt about that. It is definitely a week. Zero doubt in my mind. It is for sure a week. Your contract ends with your current job in 11 and a half year, or 11 or 1.5 years. I've been looking for something else, even if I know I can always negotiate with them for another contract, but 20 years here, and I feel I should do something different. Well, if that's what you feel, you got to at least turn over that stone to see what happens. Do you at least have the option or opportunity to go back there? That's an answer that only you can come up with. Are you going to lose velocity for that job? I don't have the answer. I'm not someone who dispenses career advice on a regular basis specific to that. But I think you're going to live with far more consternation in not turning over that stone than you would wondering or doing it and then finding that it wasn't for you. It's only a problem that you can face, only a hurdle that you can overcome. So that's that. If you're, I'm not sure you put it out there asking for a recommendation what you should do, but you know, you gotta try it, knowing full well that. But I wouldn't do it if you're going to. Don't cut off your nose to spite your face. If what you have isn't an impedance, you know, there's no right answer to this. You know, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's what that is. You gotta do what you gotta do what you gotta do. So yeah, we're just shy of an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and start winding down. Sure if we got over here. Oh, look at that! I just got a notification that I was live. That's awesome. An hour into it, YouTube. That is just amazing. I'm impressed with the timing of that particular notification. Was that the thing that was buzzing? Couldn't tell you. Let me check out. Let's see what I got here. I can't do this. I guess I think I'm going to record something else later today. I'm not going to roll into Creator Advocate right now. I got other things I got to do. I got to cover another topic. But yeah, I'm not going to do it right now. So anyway, that's what I got for you today. Thank you for some solid questions, some good conversation fodder. That's everything I have. So I'm not gonna draw it out any longer. But thank you for tuning in as long as you have, and when you have. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I love you. I appreciate you. And at this point, I'm gonna leave you to your own devices. May the Force be with you.